ranking my top favorite PBS Kids shows. Let's get it. All right, we got Word World. So I remember this show when I was a kid. I was watching this show as a kid at my auntie's house. My cousins used to always watch PBS Kids. So who remember this show Word World? They had the animals was like words or something like that. You had to spell the words. They used to the animals was made out of words like the animal was the name of the the word. Yeah, this show was all about, I guess, words, so you had to spell words, you had to read the words. So yeah, this show, I remember watching this show as a kid, I really didn't like it that much, but it was a good show. All right, we got Super Y, yo, who remember this show? Super Y, yo, this show is lit. Me and my cousins, every time we watched the show, we used to play as the characters. I used to be Super Y, according to my other cousins, they used to be one of the girl was the princess, the girl was the skating girl, and my brother was the pig, something like the pig. So yo, who remember Super Y, yo? Super Y is a top tier PBS Kids show, man. Of course it was all about reading, but it was a lit show. I remember one episode. I remember watching it with my cousins, and we was laughing. So, but yeah, Super Y is one of my top, favorite PBS Kids shows. And after Super Y, we got Clifford the Big Red Dog. Clifford with the Big Red Dog, yo, this show was so it was comfortable to watch. You had you had Clifford, then you had the girl with the blonde hair. I can't remember her name, but she always used to wear pink. But Clifford always, he was I was like, how can a dog be big and red? I never seen that in my life. You know what I'm saying? I never seen a dog that's big and red, on a TV show or in real life. I never seen that type of stuff. But Clifford the Big Red Dog is a top tier PBS Kids show. And after Clifford the Big Red Dog, we got Caillou, man, this wasn't him a whooping, yo. Caillou, every time he always get in trouble or make a mess or something like that, or mess with his little sister or mess with his cat. Yo, Caillou, he needs his tail whooped every time. I remember watching a Berlizzi video about Caillou. He said he needs his tail whooped. Yo, I agree, yo. But Caillou is one of my favorite Sesame Street, but my favorite PBS Kids shows. But he was bad. Caillou was a bad boy. He needs his tail whooped. All right, my number one top favorite PBS Kids show is Curious George. Curious George, man, that's one of my favorite PBS Kids show, man. It's Curious George. You had the dude that was wearing all the yellow. I don't know what his name is. The dude that was wearing all the yellow, the yellow hat, the yellow shirt, yellow pants, yellow shoes probably, and I like PBS, Curious George because it was comfortable watching, it was like a comfort show. You used to see Curious George get in trouble or learning new things. But yeah, Curious George is one of my favorite PBS Kids shows.